pointed it out. Eric always happens to be at the right place at the right time to hear the perfect part of the conversation where he said that he walked in on Nick, Zach, and Mike shaking hands, bros to the end. Zach just told me that's total bullshit because they did it in the fitness room with the door closed. Eric said he walked in on them in the kitchen, and you pointed that out, and that's something that I forgot.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that. I pointed out one example. I didn't say that there were several examples. He gave...
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
but I want to be clear.
No, there has been others, and when I said that to you, don't misconstrue.
No,
when I said Eric always happens to be at the right place at the right time, that's when you said, you know, this.
Yes.
And then Zach says that's total bullshit because there's no possible way anybody could have seen us. We were in the fitness room with the door closed. Eric always happens to be at the right place at the right time. Eric was the one that came running to me after the first hinky vote with Mike, and he came up to me right afterwards and he said, Jen told me that it was Nick that voted that way. And when I said something to Jen, she said no, and still now she's like, I never said that. So Eric is full of shit. That vote was him.
And even remember
Nick told me that how he was voting, and he said that we were voting to keep Kale. I don't know why.
I believe, and Nick confirmed that as well. Nick told me that he told you how...
But does he think that I actually said that about him? Like, I mean, obviously I never thought that he was the vote.
I'm sorry, does he think that I said that about him? Are you talking about Nick. Mike, or Eric? Nick?
Obviously not, he'll watch the show.
No, because but Nick told me, he said, I told Jen how you guys were voting.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, that's fine. Cat's out of the bag. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. But the question was the second vote and where it came from. And anytime I ever brought up that second vote, Eric was always the first one to sweep it under the rug. Now, when it came to the second vote, I think everybody here was at the hammock when he kept trying to sweep it under. And I'm like, this is bullshit. It's not just random, and it's not another person. Nick didn't do it 2 times in a row. He wasn't here.
Even with the one, though, after the one vote, remember that was the elimination HOH competition. And remember, Eric was the one going around telling everybody, he's like, did you see Nick after he got out? And then after you were standing there, he ran up to you and he was like yelling and all pissed off and blah, blah. And I'm like, what? I was like, no, Nick was perfectly calm and he was not mad about anything. He came up to me and he was like, you know, we got certain people out and, you know, there's certain people left, like, good job. He was not mad, and he was trying to convince you that Nick was pissed off at you for getting him out, which he never, ever was.
And there was that other thing with Eric said that he walked into the bedroom at the perfect time and saw Zach and Nick going, we're going to, what was it, we're going to get him to the end.
When they were playing
us to the end, and that was total bullshit. Zach said, he looked at me like cross-eyed. He's like, what? What are you talking about?
Why would Zach admit to that, though?
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. And Zach's admitted
to it. It's another thing where Eric happens to walk in at the
Excuse
exact
me.
right moment, at the exact right time, hearing the exact right comments.
Excuse me. I questioned Zach about that, and he said that, yes, they did have a conversation about that, and they did have a conversation similar to that.
Not guys till the end. Dustin, I know Nick better than any person in this house.
It wasn't Nick that said that. It was Zach.
No.
Zach is the one that said guys till the end.
Yeah, he
and
did
Zach
say
has
that,
said
but
that to me several times as well.
He did say that, but that's not what Eric accused him of saying, Dustin.
That's not
what
what Eric
That was a completely
accused him of
different
saying.
conversation. That's not what we're talking about.
Talking about this, in the bedroom.
I'm not talking about guys to the end. Yes, Zach did approach numerous guys about that. Eric for one, but that's not the conversation that we're talking about.
Then what conversation are you speaking of?
I'm trying to tell you, but you're flipping out about it.
Come on, guys.
No, I'm being honest.
I'm all ears.
I don't understand this. I don't understand this.
No, I'm all
Why are you
ears.
acting like this?
I'm all ears.
We're supposed to be
just
having a
wondering.
conversation,
Can I say something?
and you're being very defensive and very aggressive. Why?
Hey, can both
Why,
of you?
Dustin?
Dick, please.
No,
I'm
why?
playing devil's advocate.
No, you're not.
Hey,
Dick,
please
You're
stop.
starting an argument with everyone here.
Oh
my God.
Can we please stop? Dustin, to you, I'm
Relax.
saying honestly, like, you're getting really defensive, and all of us feel for you. And I'm being really honest because I know it's a really hard situation for you to be in because, you know, Amber's name was there, and she, obviously, her and Eric have been talking the whole time. And all of us, we're here for you. We understand what you're going through. Me above everybody, because I was the only one up here defending Nick last week. I know what you're going through. And Eric was of all people in his house, Eric's the one person to convince me that I can't trust Nick, and I believed him for, like, you know, until it was too late. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Of all people, Nick was the one person in this house that I could trust the most. I know where you're coming from, and we all, seriously, we're here for you, and we understand. And I know that you're having a really hard time, and you know, we're feeling for you. We're not trying to throw you on the spot. We're not trying to throw Amber under the bus. We're trying to, you know, reveal information and have everybody be on the same page and understand what's going on. We're really like not trying to, you know, put you in an awkward spot, but you are.
not
I understand that, Dick,
Eric.
please. Now, my question, what conversation are you speaking of?
I'm speaking of the conversation that Eric said he walked in the room numerous times, not just once, but twice, and said this was when Nick and Zach were both in bed, because I was laying down next to Nick the whole day because I was just spending time with him, talking to him about stupid stuff and, you know, talking about whatever. And he said that they kept getting up. They're laying in bed talking about this movie game and getting up and doing fist pounds and going, we're here till the end, we're going to take everybody down, blah, blah, blah. No, Nick knew from the POV meeting that he was going home.
knew.
Nick's
He
not
told
an
me he
idiot.
was.
Right.
He knew he was going home. He knew the whole thing. I told him like a bunch of the situation that was going on because Nick deserved to know that he was going home. I told him that. He knew. Nick, I told him, you know, let's talk to this person, let's talk to that person, because I knew that he wasn't lying about certain things to try to get him to stay in the house. Nick didn't want to. He said, I want to spend the rest of the time spending time with you. I don't care about the game anymore, blah, 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 which pissed me off because, you know, you can be in this house and spend more time in the game, and what's the point? But he didn't care. He didn't want to. He's not going to sit there with fist pounding with Zach of all people. Are you kidding me? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's just... And it wasn't just once that Eric said he saw them. It was numerous times. And every time it just happened to be when I left the room to get a glass of water.
Now, I believe, because this is the same conversation that we were speaking of, I don't see Nick ever pounding fists and saying blah, blah, blah. I see Zach doing that. And Zach said that, yes, they've had conversations about game during Nick's final days here. So...
But at the same time, I honest to God, I was in the room numerous times when Zach would come in, he goes, hey, I got to talk to you. And Nick just like rolls his eyes and, you know, either tells him to leave or he'd be like, what's up, whatever. And Zach's like, you know, I might be able to swing it this way and that way. And Nick's like, okay, cool, you know, cool. And that's it. Nick didn't care. He knew he was going home, and he didn't care.
I know that Nick knew
Kale
he was
knew
going
she
home.
wasn't going
not,
home.
So he's not saying that he thinks
Kale
they
knew
did
she
that
wasn't
it
going
happened.
home.
But
How did
about
Kale
Zach,
know she
Jack's
wasn't
making
going
it up
home?
just to-
Why was
for
Kale
random
eating a bowl of slop an hour before the eviction?
See, I still think that her eating a bowl of slop is just like...
Random?
I just...
Jen knew the vote. Did you tell her that she was staying?
No.
If you knew which way to vote?
Well, I was obviously going to vote to keep Kale, and it hadn't talked to me for the 4 days previous.
Kale knew. I've been saying for 2 weeks there's a leak in the group. I've been saying it for 2 weeks.
Because,
2 hinky votes.
Well, not
Two.
just that, though, but we all saw when Nick was replaced as the nominee, Kale was freaking out. She was laying around like somebody
thought he was the
shot her.
pawn.
It was ridiculous. For 2 days, she wasn't talking to anyone. She was just sitting there like a dead body on every single couch in the house. And then all of a sudden, during the middle of the week, her spirits completely changed, and she was, what's poppin'? What's poppin', Kale? Like, what?
It's her twin.
No, it's
Well,
somebody
I told her
telling
not to be lame. Like, I mean, I'm like always trying to make people not like sad and mopey, like no matter if she's going home or not. And I did tell her like this is ridiculous. Like like don't be going around like, you know, a bump on a log. Like that's what I think I actually use as a term. Like so it could have had nothing to do with her being excited. I'm not saying
No,
like
it was a
that there's-
complete and total flip. And the same thing happened the week before. She knew she wasn't going home then. She knew she wasn't going home now. Somebody's telling her, and I've been saying it for 2 weeks. The votes, there's too many things. There's too many things. And Eric is at the bottom of every single one. Why would Eric come to me and tell me that Jen said that Nick just told her that he voted the opposite way? When that was a
'Cause I told
total and
Eric that.
complete lie.
And not just that,
You told Eric
Justin.
that Nick voted the other way?
Oh no, I told Eric
Eric
that
came
Nick
running
told
to me
that-
right
that-
after and said that Nick voted the other way, that you told him so, and you just
Okay.
told Eric. Now, why is Eric getting all this information, saying from Kale and from Jen, and when they're not saying this information to anyone else? It's all going to Eric. Eric's bringing it up in these meetings. Eric's very, very convincing, no matter which way he wants to argue, no matter for who. And when it was Nick, it was, we need to decide right here and now, and nobody can wait.